Hello YouTube, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, presenting you with yet another wrestling review. I am of course joined as always by my cohort and all-around lackey, Joe. Say hi, Joe. He's a Friday night kind of guy. So anyway, it's Friday night as I've said, and you know what that means? It's time for SmackDown. And this week's SmackDown was pretty good in terms of matches and overall storytelling. It, while it's slightly under this week's Raw, I still give it a high score. So anyway, let's move on let's move on. SmackDown opens with SmackDown opens with Rey Mysterio coming out, the ring surrounded by tables, ladders, and chairs, and it turns out that he and Alberto Del Rio have a match. I don't know what type of match they're going to have at TLC, but it should be interesting. So Rey goes on about how, that he was the one who cost Alberto Del Rio his match at the King of the Ring this past Monday. And he goes on about saying, Alberto Del Rio may like to ride around in fancy cars, but I prefer to fly. Then Alberto Del Rio comes out in one of his vintage cars. He pays one of the stagehands to watch his car, since he doesn't want Rey Mysterio to steal it, because according to CM Punk, that's what he does on the side. So he gets in the ring and he says, "Do you know why, you little chihuahua? Why you and all the other peasants climb ladders? It's simple. Because you want to be on my level. But you will never be on my level." Wink. So they inevitably have a little scrap in the middle of the ring, ending with Rey putting Alberto Del Rio through a table. Now this is a pretty good build-up. I mean, they've had a good feud going for a couple of months. I mean, Alberto Del Rio was the one who not only put Rey on the shelf for a couple of months, but was the one who cost him his entry into the King of the Ring. So the feud is there. So, first match of the night is a tag team match between Dolph, don't call me Ziggler, and Drew McIntyre versus Kaval, aka Shinshi, aka Loki, versus MVP in probably his last televised match for WWE. If you haven't heard, MVP this week was released from his contract. And this is a shame, since I enjoy MVP's work before, both as a face and a heel. I mean, he pretty much has Chris Benoit to thank for that. I know a lot of us don't really like to talk about Chris Benoit, but say what you want about him, he helped make MVP a superstar with those series of matches. Anyway, it's a good match. Surprisingly, Kaval and MVP have good chemistry in the ring. I would love to see more of them as a team together, but we know that it's impossible. Kaval hits one of his dragon sleeper, but Vicky Guerrero interferes, and Dolph Ziggler hits the zigzag. 1, 2, 3. Ziggler and McIntyre win. Next match is number one contenders match for the IC title: Kofi Kingston versus Jack Swagger. And no, you're not watching a repeat. Last week they did have a match to qualify to be in the King of the Ring, and this match is just as great, if not better, than the one they had last week. They both played to their strengths greatly, and it was a very well executed match by both of them. Kofi wins with Trouble in Paradise and pins him 1, 2, 3. So now he's gonna face Dolph Ziggler probably at TLC, and hopefully he'll get the title back, and Ziggler can feud for that for a little bit, because I love that feud. I love it. Let's see. If I'm missing some stuff, please let me know in the comments down there. What else? Next we had a Divas match between Eve, I don't give a fuck who you are because because you're boring and you can't wrestle, versus Layla of Lay Cool. The match is short. Layla completely dominates and makes Eve look like the joke that she is. Then Hornswoggle jumps in the ring, and Lay Cool's utter attempt to be funny as they got on their knees attempting to fight Hornswoggle. This is then interrupted by Beth Phoenix, who summarily kicks both their asses. Then the Swagger Soaring Eagle comes out, still a little bit pissed that Hornswoggle shot him in the ass last week with an arrow. And before any of you say anything, believe it or not, for those who don't know, the Swagger Soaring Eagle is in fact Chavo Guerrero. Yes, Chavo Guerrero. And he goes on and he has a little scrap with Hornswoggle. Then he's beaten by Beth Phoenix, and then beaten again by Hornswoggle. Chavo, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're part of the Guerrero line of wrestlers. Your uncle was Eddie Guerrero, for God's sake. You don't need to be. You could do better than this. You could go do better in Ring of Honor. At least they will shoot you with some respect. But no, now they got you. They even in on SmackDown. You're jobbing to a fucking midget. What the hell, man? It's bad enough your grandfather, I think Hector Guerrero, is the fucking gobbledygooker. You don't need to shame yourself even further. Ugh. Come on, Chavo. I think next they show, but all throughout the night. Oh, I forgot to mention that after the tag team match, Kane comes out, beats the crap out of MVP and Kaval, and all throughout the night, Edge is just doing his best to utterly annoy the fuck out of the world champion, and he's had him running all around the arena looking for his father. It's just funny, like. It's just funny seeing him running around like Bugs Bunny, like, you missed him again, Doc. Over here. Yeah, ain't I a stinker? Eh? Since I'm Canadian. Anyway, moving on. Next match, the Masterpiece, Chris Masters versus Dashing Cody Rhodes. And you could tell Dashing Cody Rhodes was coming out because there were some women in the audience who were screaming. I mean screaming when he came out. That's how fucking good looking this guy is. Overall, the best match of the night. And that's surprising coming from me saying that about Chris Masters. I mean, the guy came in, he had no skills in the ring. He could wrestle barely. His wrestling skill was on the same level of Great Khali. He was just big, muscular, and had a one-shot trick pony finishing move, the Master Lock. But since he came back, he has actually gotten a lot better in the ring. He can pull off some decent matches, and this match was no exception. He really knew how to work the ring, and he worked very well with Dashing Cody Rhodes, who they continue to push very well, might I add. Do you like Dashing Cody Rhodes, Joe? If you can't tell, he takes his grooming tips every day. Hogged at the bathroom. You do. So anyway, Cody hits Crossroads and beats the Masterpiece in a very competitive matchup. I can't say anything bad about it. It was a good match. What's next? They had a recap of last Monday. It's Raw, where Jerry the King Lawler got his first title shot ever against The Miz, and they show Michael Cole, the bitch slut whore that he is, interfering, and this causes the crowd to really turn on him. They just say, "You suck, Cole. You suck, Cole. You suck, Cole." Where are those coal miners you've been bragging about, Cole? Yeah, and you better have a damn good explanation because Jerry is gonna fucking destroy you Monday. It's bad enough you cost him the title. But you cost him his first and probably only title shot that in his entire career for the WWE title, and it was someone who thought you could trust. It's one thing to be a fan, Cole. It's another thing to be a total whore, and that's what you are. A whore of a slut of a cunt of a whore. Eat it, Michael Cole. Anyway, last match, main event time. It's Edge versus Kane. Winner decides the stipulation for their match at TLC. Now the match was pretty good. A lot of psychology done in this match. Kane obviously throwing off his game with all the shit that Edge has been doing, and Edge taking advantage of it. At one point in the match, it looked like Kane was going to go for the choke slam when Paul Bearer appeared on the screen. Kane, Kane, help me, Kane, and bring me some chicken wings. Yes. So Kane jumps out the ring and considers going back to save his father, but he decides against it. Goes back in the ring just in time for the 9 count, only to eat a spear in the spear. Yes, he eats a spear in the spear. So he eats a spear. 1, 2, 3. Edge wins, and of course, the stipulation he decides is the match he's best known for. TLC. Yep, as Match Striker says in his comments, there have been 10 TLC matches in the history of the WWE, and Edge has been in 7 of them. So he knows how to handle himself in TLC. Hell, he beat The Undertaker in TLC. So that doesn't bode well for you, Kane. So he's like, okay. And then Joker Edge says, okay, Kane, I'm going to do you a little favor. I'm going to bring your father back out. I'm being a nice guy. So here's your father. So he wheels his father out, back towards him, and leaves him on the upper ramp, and Kane rushes to free his father, but it turns out it's a stand-in. Kane starts beating in the stand-in until he sees Paul Bearer strapped to a back of a flatbed truck. He rushes back there just as Edge drives off with him in his Joker voice. I love my job. I love it. Come on, Kane. Why so serious? And that's how we end SmackDown. Overall, it was a good show. Not as good as Raw, but I'd watch it. It's a good show. Good matches, good pacing, lots of great drama and good storytelling. The only part I don't like was the whole Divas, Hornswoggle, Swagger, Story, and Eagle bullshit. So if you have it on TiVo, fast forward past this part. You're not really missing anything. But overall, it was a good SmackDown. What'd you think, Joe? He likes Edge. So anyway, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and my co-host Joe signing off, and we will see you this Sunday when I review Final Resolution. And hope we survive. Till then, laters.